and they will live there, never belonging to those nations. They will always belong only to one area of the world, which is the place of their prophet's birth. They belong only, their loyalties center only on one land, and that is Saudi Arabia. That is the malady, that is the problem, which has never been challenged. In fact, the mischief lies in the fact that when the colonial powers went to Muslim areas of the world, they never attacked or criticized or discussed religion, Islam. They only took power. They defeated their local kings, but they never allowed their intellectuals, even their intellectuals, to debate or dispute Islam as a concept or as a thinking. So it remained intact. All religions, one by one, took their criticism from the opponents. For example, Judaism was criticized by Christians. Christians were criticized by their own intellectuals and by the Muslims. But first by the Muslim rulers who conquered the world and were powerful, they criticized and rubbished Christianity the way they will. And then came the modern intellectuals after Enlightenment in Europe and England, and they also criticized Christianity from within. So Christianity was fully exposed to scrutiny and discussion, and it was exposed, or if the believer calls it debunked, but it was fully discussed, and its authority was gone. The blasphemy in Christianity disappeared because the intellectuals and thinkers and reformers and politicians gradually removed it from the Christian world. So the killing of women in the name of honor, which also existed in Christianity, and blasphemy, that is anybody who defames or insults the Christ will be dealt with. So all these issues no more exist in Christianity, in the Christian world. But the Hindus were rubbished by the Muslims who ruled them. Buddhists had no problem. Buddhists never had any violent religion. So the only religion that was left behind to have all the rights and powers was Islam. Because when the colonial rulers entered the Muslim world, they had already been equipped with the concept of tolerance. The one word, the one concept of religious tolerance, which allows all religions to remain as they are, had already become the norm of the day when the colonial rulers ruled the Muslim world. So they never attacked their religion. They never insulted their religion. It also suited them. In the middle of 19th century, the British understood in India that Islam is a great force which can divide India. And it suited their corporate or their colonial interests. And these interests continue to remain intact in the United States interests. To strengthen the Islamic sentiment, which is an excellent weapon, human weapon, to fight any enemy that you target. Because it is devoid of any reasoning. When a sentiment is devoid of reasoning, you can manipulate it through small planning. It was manipulated against the Soviet Union, and the Muslims from all over the world came to fight Soviet Union. America had just to invest some money and weapons, and they fought the American war, or the war of the modern world. But of course, luckily that was the final good thing that the Muslims could have done. That is, they fought the Soviet Union okay, well. But this pampering of the Muslim faith for your own gains has become the soul of modern civilization. It is now, this is now the scene. The Muslims have complete faith that their religion is the final truth, that they have the right to rule the world, that their religion was the final righteous message of the Lord, the creator of the world. We Muslims also believe that Muhammad, our prophet, was the reason why the universe was created. We believe that the whole universe was created for him. And therefore, those who believe in him have the right to be the darlings of the universe. We, the darlings of the universe, are your darlings by right. And you are very kind to us that you keep us your darlings. The liberal intellectual, the liberal politician, the liberal middle class of the modern civilization, of modern world, which has given a hope of survival to mankind, is committing a suicide instead of ensuring the future of mankind by pampering my ego, which says that the universe belongs to me without any work that I do. I may do nothing. I was created a Muslim, so that is the extreme virtue that I have committed just by being born. I came to the world, I have done this great favor to mankind that I was born. And I was born as a Muslim, so it is my right to be the most superior human being in the world. I can go with a penguin dress and a turban on my head and say, no, I will not work, 5 times I will go for a prayer. You pay me the wages because I am following my religion. And you must be ashamed of yourself that you object to my religion if you do. These are not my sarcastic remarks. These are the feelings of a genuine Muslim. Now this is what I in my book call Civilisational Narcissism. Narcissism is a psychological term which was used by Freud. He plucked it from the Greek mythology, where there was a prince or a hero called Narcissus, who is known in the myth to have found himself very handsome, and he started looking at his image in the water and gradually became so infatuated with himself that he refused to move his limb or his hand lest the image is disturbed, and then he will no more see his beautiful image. So he would not move, and he concentrated on his image and felt more and more proud that he was so handsome till he died because of hunger and thirst. The gods, like you, were very kind. They made him a flower and placed him on the water so that he may not die. So he remained the flower of Narcissus. This myth was taken by Freud to explain a disease, a pathological state of a person who loves himself so bitterly that he refuses to move with the world, and he can see no beauty and no virtue in the world around. I took this individual disease, which is disease only when it is exaggerated, because narcissism is every man's, every woman's, every human's basic need to survive. We love ourselves because we want to exist. Of course, everybody loves himself. But when it becomes pathological, that is, you do not see any virtue in others, because you do not want to perform better than others, then it becomes pathological narcissism. That is, you are not now part of this society, but you demand attention and love and kindness and everything from others because you think that you are extremely capable of taking everything. You deserve it. Now this is pathological narcissism. This pathological narcissism I found in my people, deeply ingrained in the soul of my people, narcissism. So I called it civilisational narcissism. Civilisational narcissism is the pathological state that sanctions blasphemy. You cannot insult me without being given the harshest punishment. This actually, a word about it, the modern doctors and research workers were told in United States universities to find the cause of certain issues in the corporate organizations like banks and car producing companies, where some executives were behaving in a way that the companies were suffering. So they told them to investigate what is going on. And they found that some of the executives who had had great success in their past had become pathological narcissists, so that in their presence, the companies could not work smoothly. They had become so vindictive with the world around because of their great self-love that they would punish any subordinate who disagrees, fight any equal who disagrees, and if somebody criticizes or disagrees with their view, they will take the harshest reactionary attitudes against it. So they were pointed out as the source of failure in the companies. That exactly is the problem with the Muslim civilization today. They have become so sensitive. They do not accept any criticism, any disagreement. Now, if this is unfortunately a state which is not being consciously done. I mean, when a Muslim comes across the insult of his prophet, it is not his considered or intellectually aware reaction. That he is now aware, he thinks that he should not do this, but he does it. He is involuntarily, emotionally aroused to act in that way because he is part of that narcissistic malady, that disease that he and others are sharing without knowing it. We humans have the distinction from the animal world because we behave with our intelligence. Intelligence is the ability to model reality correctly in real time. This also creates emotional intelligence. Muslims have great emotional intelligence. But then there is one thing we call intelligent emotions. Our general public have emotional intelligence. That is, they have certain behaviors as intelligent human beings which are based on their emotions. Emotional intelligence as I understand, is a state of human behavior where you are intelligent, of course, because you are a human being, but you are guided by your emotion on any given issue. So that is, our behavior is called emotional intelligence. But then if there is somebody who wants to play on my emotional intelligence, he will use his intelligent emotion. That he will act as if he is aroused over something, so that you are aroused because of your basic attitude. Our clergy, as we call them, the mullah, the priests who are being now financed and